Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for honoring our invite to sit with Cobus Wiese. There's quite a number of you who are joining us for the session, so can I ask that we all be considerate in the number of questions that we field with Cobus. We will start in this fashion. Kanyuso, you'll kick us off. From Kanyuso, we will go to Ken. From Ken, we will go to Cobus, and then after that, I will see.
Thank you very much, Lunga. Good afternoon, everyone. Cobus, Jake rated you as quite a significant mole stopper and someone who's contributing quite significantly to the Bulls' physical effort. Just talk us more about your working relationship with the director of rugby and how you've come along as a Bulls player.
I can use first of all, everyone, apologies for being a few minutes late. Yeah, so just to answer your question, Kaniso, so I've obviously been at the Bulls now for what has it been 3 months, and I always say that when a rugby player is playing, he's at his most happy, or he's happiest. But yeah, I think in terms of the physicality, that is probably something that I want to pride myself on as a forelock or wherever I'm playing in the pack. Yeah, when Coach Jake approached me, he said that he feels that they're lacking in not lacking in that regard, but that they can use more players. So there's a bit more depth to the squad. So yeah, I really respect Jake. I think he's a brilliant rugby brain, and it's one of those things where he's seen plenty of players, and it gives you confidence the fact that he backs you. So yeah.
Thank you. Good from my side.
Thanks, Lunga. How's it, Cobus?
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you were part of a Springbok squad back in 2018.
Yes.
Your brother's obviously an integral part of the Springbok squad now. Presumably joining him there is on your radar. What do you feel you need to do to put yourself into that sort of national team conversation?
Yeah, Ken, it's definitely a dream of mine, or a dream of Jasper and mine to play together one day. And it being for the Boks will be, I guess, number one prize. We're privileged enough that we can play the sport that we love, and yeah. So I think in terms of the Boks setup, I was in the squad back in 2018. I broke my neck, and then, to be quite honest, I became quite complacent, and I thought it would just happen. But I think now it's easy to see what you need to do to be in the Springbok squad. I mean, if you look at the guys that are there now, they have an impeccable work rate. And they stay true to the players they are. If you look at a guy like Pieter Steff and Eben, they do week in, week out what they're known for. And yeah, so I think in terms of that, just doing the best I can in my role, or the identity I have created for myself. And yeah, it's about doing it well, week in, week out, consistently. I don't know what they want, but I can see that it's stuff that doesn't require talent. So it's hard work, but consistent hard work. So yeah, it's definitely something I'm chasing, and hopefully one of these days they'll approach me.
Yeah, Cobus. joining the Bulls, I guess one of the positives for the Bulls is you've got a lot of experience playing up north, and obviously you guys are about to head off on your first tour this season. Presumably, you've got advice to give your fellow players. I mean, I know obviously they've played a little bit overseas now, but for you, what are the sort of key things that you would impart to your teammates in order to ensure success overseas on tour in Europe?
Ken, yeah, it's been a wet 4 years before coming back to South Africa. I think one of the most important things up north is you have to win the territory game. Yeah, I think the guy who wins the territory game up north will be on the front foot, and then yeah, it's forwards orientated really, Ken, especially if the weather is bad. You know, it's who can stay in the fight the longest in terms of not getting bored to do the same thing over and over and over again. And in that, staying disciplined. Because again, coming back to the forwards aspect of it, it's a set piece after set piece kind of match, and you know, if you sucking on the short straw of that, then it's going to be a long, hard day for you. So I think first of all, if you have world-class game drivers, people that manage the game well, which we do have, you'll be in good stead. And then if you have a dominating forward pack, then I'd say 60% of the game is taken care of.
So just lastly from me, the Bulls obviously have appeared in 2 URC finals. They're obviously one of the strong contenders for the URC title. Just coming to the Bulls, you've been there 3 months. Just how have you found the sort of mindset, the sort of championship potential of the team?
Yeah, Ken, I think it's good that we've been in 2 finals, you know, and considering the players we have, we've kind of been a young squad, and I wouldn't say inexperienced squad, but the positive thing for this season is that we have now a squad that's been in big time situations, and they've been in 2 finals, which they've lost, and they know that feeling. So I think in terms of the mindset that the squad has now, or I wouldn't call it a white elephant in the room, or I'd say it's more an expectation from the players now to actually perform and come away with a trophy in the middle. You know, that gives me massive confidence that, you know, if I can add my bit, then we might, or not might, we can go all the season, all the way this season. So yeah, I think everyone knows that this is a year or a perfect opportunity for us to bring something home, and yeah, so it's an experienced group. It's still a relatively young group, but you know, they've been in big time situations. So I'll take some confidence from that.
Thanks very much.
Cobus is Cobus Clausen here. It must be nice to go on tour after a performance like Saturday's, and is that performance pretty much the blueprint for the season?
Middag, Cobus. Yeah, I think there's still, it's hard to say when you know, you kind of put a team away on a Saturday. I think one thing Coach Jake does very well is keeping us grounded and making sure that we know there's still things you can work on. So yeah, for instance, this weekend I still managed to slow our ball down a bit. You know, we all kind of first or second game together, so you know, we can still get into better shape, but ideally a dominant forward pack with magic backs that can score a try. it's a pretty good blueprint for a rugby team. So a lot of things we can fix up on, but we take massive confidence from this weekend.
Thank you, Cobus. Thanks, Lunga.
Can I go? Lunga?
Thanks, Anami.
Thank you, Lunga. Hello, Cobus.
No, Anami.
You played for the Stormers and Western Province for 4 years. Then you played for Sale for 4 years. You're definitely a player that likes to stick with the team. Do you see yourself settling in Pretoria for the next few years? And as you said, trying to get into the Springbok team via the Bulls team?
Hi, Anami. Yeah, it's definitely a short-term goal for me to get into the box squad, and you know, well, I'm at a time now in my career where, you know, I feel I'm grown up enough, or verskoon my Afrikaans, ek's 'n volwasse speler nou, so ja, definitief. I think the Bulls setup is a championship team that just fell short 2 times. You know, and I think winning teams are in good stead to get picked for the national side. So yeah, I signed a 2-year deals with the Boks, with the Bulls, to look to get into that box squad. It's a lifelong dream of mine, and it's something I'm chasing now. And so far, I've really been enjoying my time at the Bulls. So, you know, if I can make that progression in my career, then I'm happy to stay a few more years.
Just one more from me, sorry. You're kind of like a hybrid lock flank, easily switching between the two. Pieter-Steph obviously also does that a lot. Is he a player that you look at a lot and learn from, as you have to switch between those two positions?
Definitely, Anami. I think any player from 4 to 8 can learn massively from Pieter-Steph. I had the privilege of playing with him from 2017 to 2019. So you know, I learned a lot from him. But yeah, like I mentioned to Kanyiswa, it's a guy that just keeps on working. So I think he's a perfect example for any rugby player in South Africa. Obviously forwards orientated, but you know, he's a massive presence and a leader on the pitch. You know, I think a lot of guys turn to him when the going gets tough, and you know, if I can develop into being that kind of player, then I'd be very happy. I don't know if I'll ever quite be Pieter-Steph du Toit, but if I can come close, I'll be happy.
Thank you, and good luck for this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Cobus, thank you for the opportunity. One would say it's an easy tour that you're going on, because Ospreys only won 1 of 3 games. Scarlets nothing, Benetton nothing, and then Connacht at the end of the time. They're doing quite well. How do you see that?
I think it's easy to fall into a trap of you know, thinking that stuff are just gonna happen. And in fact, we've already addressed it today. You know, it's a mentality thing going overseas, and you know, it's one thing playing at altitude against Ulster when it's 30 degrees, but it's another thing going to Wales and, you know, playing when it's pouring with rain and it's cold. I know the northern sides. I know they're passionate at home. You know, it's obviously being part of a Bulls pack. There's a target on your back to get dominated. So some might say it's an easy tour, but we'll take it week for week, and we'll give them the needed respect. and we know we're going to have to work very hard and man up to come away with the points. So I understand what you're saying, but in our minds, it's as important as the next game.
My final question is if we can take Saturday's performance as a benchmark of the, let's call it, new Vodacom Bulls game plan, how do you see the conditions in the north changing your attitude on the field and the way that you're going to play?
Yeah, I don't think it changes the mindset very much. We want to be a dominant side. We want to score a lot of points, and then this season we want to concede a bit less. So I think up to 70 minutes on Saturday we only conceded one try. Brilliant try by Jacob Stockdale. But I think it's just about being smart when you're playing in difficult conditions, not overplaying in your half. But like I said, we've got world-class game drivers and guys that can manage a game in a way that we keep the ball in front of us and we keep on top of teams. So looking back at this weekend, it's obviously dry and nice. You can throw the ball around a bit more. You can offload. But I don't think the game plan changes much. We want to be a dominant pack, put our backs on the front foot, and then just manage the game well.
Appreciate it, sir.
Cobus, hi, ek hoop dit gaan goed met jou. Is lekker om weer jou te sien hier. Just in terms of that first Bulls game, how bad was the nerves, and have you gotten over the nervous part yet, or does it still pop up when you run out onto the field?
I Leighton. I think we actually had a conversation about this on Saturday. There's always, for me, it's an hour and a half before kickoff. Then I still feel the butterflies in the stomach, or you get that nervous feeling, which I feel is a good thing for me personally. Other guys do it differently. I just think the thing that and this is a very positive thing, being in a team like the Bulls, it's world class players, and it's more the expectation that you put on yourself to perform. Or I think you can call it not getting left behind in a team like that really get you ready and up for a game. So I still do get nervous. I handle it a bit better than a few years ago, but definitely the expectation you have on yourself to work hard and not get left behind is something that drives me.
And then just lastly, you were spared a possible first game against the Stormers thanks to the Currie Cup, but and you've experienced some overseas teams at Loftus now, but is there like that passion, that drive to be available in December, January, when you get to face the South African teams for what's it like? I think probably the first time in 4 years, although the Sharks did play Champions Cup on this side as well.
Yeah, I think it's a massive thing to be available in that time of the year. It's that's where it's you against not just an opponent on the rugby field, but it's a guy competing for a spot in the national team. And so I don't want to say that the motivation is more and the drive is more, because I do want to believe that I get myself up for every game. Doesn't matter who we're playing, but there's obviously a bit more at stake, or in terms of national selection when it comes to South African teams. Also, world-class players in other teams. I mean, the Sharks are stacked with Springboks, and a side like the Stormers has a few guys knocking on the door as well. So if you can dominate in that environment, it's as important for the log and as important for the competition. But I think for me personally, it would be a statement to dominate other South African teams.
Dankie.
Percival Young van Enies hier. Goeiedag sê meneer. Cobus, jammer. Percival Young is altyd hier. Percival Young is altyd hier om die krummels op te tel in Afrikaans meneer. So ek gaan net vra herhaal in Afrikaans gou vinnig. Cobus, net kortliks, jy's baie oop oor die feit dat jy wil in die Springbok trui speel. Was dit deel van jou motivering geweest om terug Suid-Afrika te kom, juis om weer die nasionale span te kom?
Percival, ja. Definitief. Jy weet dit is nou maar net 'n feit dat meeste Springbokke uit Suid-Afrika uitgekies word. Ek en my vrou het laas jaar Junie 'n dogtertjie gehad en jy weet dit is ook 'n groot deel van die motivering gewees om terug te kom. Jy weet om ons dogtertjie vir oumas en oupas groot te maak. Maar ja, definitief. Ek sal dit nou in Afrikaans herhaal, maar soos ek baie na al gesê het, jy weet, dit is 'n lewenslange droom om vir die Bokke te speel en ja, ek dink as ek hard werk en konstant hard werk, dan is dit 'n moontlikheid.
En net 'n laaste vraag dan, jy praat ook, het ek genoem in Engels, dat praat jy jou broer gereeld oor die moontlike droom om die droom te waarheid om twee broers te wees in die nasionale span te wees? En sê gou van my, met die kompetisie wat nou so straf is op die oomblik, is daar baie druk op Cobus Wiese dan om hard te werk nou met die bulle om goed te vaar nou op franchise vlak?
Ja, Percy, ek dink dit is nog altyd 'n droom van my en Jasper. Dis iets wat elke keer genoem word of dis 'n punt wat elke keer opkom oor ons droom om nog altyd saam te speel. Ja, ek sal nie sê dat dit druk op my as mens sit om beter te wees nie. Ek het met die persoonlike verwagting oorgekom om waarde toe te voeg tot die bulspan en ja, ek kan waarde toevoeg deur harder te werk. Jy weet, ek weet dit is maklik om hier te sit en vir julle te sê hoe hard ek gaan werk maar ja, ek sal elke geleentheid gebruik wat ek kry om so hard as moontlik te werk om raak gesien te word en dan jy weet as dit die Here se wil is dan sal ek en Jassie saam speel.
Cobus, jy het vir my seker gemaak ek het op feite reg. Wanneer vertrek julle na Wallis toe?
Ons vlieg môre middag 2:00 dink ek, Percy. Maar dit dis môre definitief.
Baie dankie en sterkte die naweek.
Baie dankie.
Very naughty that, Percy. Ken, are you sure you have a follow-up? This has already been a very long session.
Sorry, Lunga, just one quick question for Cobus, another one. Cobus, you obviously know Jasper better than any of us. What's one thing you can tell us about your brother that we won't know?
One thing about Jasper that no one knows. Well, I can't say that he's been in a few accidents because he played for the Boks without a tooth for about 2 years. I think one thing about Jasper is that he's got a very small heart. He'll probably kick me for saying this, but as fearless and angry as he is on the field, I think he's a completely different person off it in terms of his family and our family. So yeah, I'd say it's his small heart that he has off the field. That's probably something people wouldn't reckon he has.
Lovely. Thanks very much.
Perfect.
Cool.